What up, SNA Assassinators? This is Super Ninja Austin back here with another podcast video. And this is the AEW Dynamite 5-year anniversary edition, which they are celebrating the whole 5 years to this day, exactly on October 2nd, when they debuted their Wednesday night show on. And man, I get now thinking about it, I remember watching the very first episode of it when the current undisputed champion that's over in the other company was still in the company fighting for their world championship. But that'll be a different conversation for a different day. But yeah, we're going to talk about what exactly went down tonight's 5-year anniversary show. And yeah, we got so many good matches. I'll say the opener, I just do not understand the ending of it. Like it could have been more better. Like in that, better been it could have been better. What's that called? What's that? It could have managed to what's that called? Looking it better in the end, but other than that, it was really good. And then we also got a pretty entertaining and well-invested main event, and also a really good women's match, like with them continuing to improve the women's division and AEW, and also we got a debut of a certain former Hurt Business member that's aligned himself with MVP and more. Oh yeah, and that's right. We also finally saw a particular champion. They finally made their on-screen return like in over a month, but we're gonna get into that in just a moment. But anyways, we got Jon Moxley and the rest of his his henchmen and allies, like sending a message to the American Dragon on and this hype video, like. Basically, Jon Moxley, along with Claudio and Pac, saying that they're going to be giving a gift, and it's a gift but not the gift from the universe, it's a gift from him. And Jon Moxley, I gave you the opportunity to go out on your shield, which I believe that's a wink, wink, nudge, nudge of his former teammates, I guess you could say. Well, I'm not sure what reason why he. To compare Bryan Danielson to his former faction that used to be in the other company, but this is where then Jon Moxley then continue saying yeah, but also you be buried in your own backyard, and then it's gonna be it's gonna be so beautiful, but fate is not gonna it's not gonna be put on the table. Like once we get through with you, and then looking up, and he's like, and then on October 12th, I will officially relieve you when I take something that was more of duty, like that means the whole world to you, and I'm gonna be sending Daddy home for good. He said to Bryan Danielson's kids. Him continuing looking in the camera, and I'm gonna debut my attempted murder award, I guess you could say, of wrestling, which Jon Moxley gets the Golden Trophy Award for basically ending Bryan Danielson, not only his career but his life as well, in kayfabe, of course. So yeah, he gets the Golden Trophy Award on that. But this is where we got the most entertaining. We got I'll say the third most entertaining match of the night, which is you're gonna get the Bronze Award. I would give it at least the Silver Award, like if it didn't end it like it did, but I guess it's better than getting the last place award, which don't mean nothing. But it's where then we got the Don Callis family. We're wishing him good. We're wishing Will Ospreay luck when Kyle Fletcher helped put Will Ospreay's jacket on. This is where Don Callis he was no, I'm not here for another favor. I'm just here to wish you luck. Where when Ospreay say I have a medal. And this where then Don Callis well, me and Kyle have to leave the airport anyways, and I wonder why he just said him and Kyle. This means he's gonna leave Konosuke Takeshita to do some dirty work, in behind, or do you think that he just totally forgot about him, or he was supposed to be planned to be in the match, but end up not happening? Let me know down in the comment section right down below for those that are highly aware of what I'm referring to. But you're going to see exactly what I'm talking about him not including Konosuke Takeshita to join him and Kyle Fletcher in the airport, go to their next flight. But this is where they left. This is where you gave Will Ospreay his space so he can enter the ring on his own, and they can so him and Ricochet could revisit their, I guess you could say their New Japan feud, I guess you could say, because they face each other in trilogy of matches, which they're gonna finally get to have their one their first debut match, I guess, while revisiting their rivalry. But rivalry is the better term to use, of course, like especially when we're talking about in the storyline feud with one wrestler and the other. But that's where we got, what's his name? Excalibur was reminding the fans, saying that this is not the first time we seen them encounter, which they did encounter multiple times in NJPW. But anyways, this is where we got Will Ospreay then cornered Ricochet once they start grappling and battling until they let go of him, into a very cool, friendly gesture, I guess you could say, until they got back in the middle, because they are both babyfaces and they're not going to be doing anything sneaky or slick because they're not like the Elite. But this is where we got Will Ospreay brought down Ricochet, got him into a scissors lock. But this is where then we got Ricochet flip right out of the pin before the referee can even count to one. This is where he tried to go for a backslide of his own, but he only got 2 even count. Will Ospreay got back up, but this is where Ricochet still got in control. He got him in the headlock. This is where he Irish whipped him right to the top corner side, but this is where Ricochet shoulder tackles him on the ground. That's the one thing that was different on tonight's Dynamite. The camera angle was in the opposite side, facing the bottom corner audience rather than the top corner. Right, for some reason, I don't know why. When they were live in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, which is the hometown of the hero of Pittsburgh's very own doctor, which we're not going to get into until that match comes up. But this is where we got Ricochet STOs, Will Ospreay. This is where then we got Ricochet then go right up on the left side. This is where then we got Will Ospreay go for a cartwheel. This is where Will Ospreay goes for a slide. The Ricochet goes for a cartwheel flip into the right side, but it's where we got Ricochet to grab onto his arm, brought him to the right side, try to go for a what they call a wrist. Not wrist lock, arm drag, but this is where Will Ospreay did a handstand flip and then runs right to the right side where Ricochet was at. Not insecure. Hurricane Rana's Ricochet is where he tried to close on him afterwards when he got back up. Is where then he started doing some flippy doodah flips into a fine head scissors right to the right. But Ricochet started going for a handstand cartwheel. He went. Ricochet goes for the right side, right there. This is where Will Ospreay ducks out of his clothesline. He goes right to the right side while Ricochet goes to the left, and then they try to go for a springboard flip, but they did their backflips and got back back into the canvas safely and sounded where both men made a huge ground thud, I guess you could say, when they were in the ground. This is where they. It's where it was like, oh yeah, you could do that. This is where they start looking at each other face to face. Ospreay's in the chop is where he did so, which he got probably the second place spot onto the Ring General's indie list, which he started doing repeatedly. And I was like, yeah, maybe it was a good decision that he did not join the other company, because he would get battered. Well, all thanks to the CCO, for him could potentially in case perhaps only if he make fun of the company's CCO about him getting the position by grinding on the former boss's daughter. But anyway, this is where we got Ricochet then go for a backbreaker onto Will Ospreay. This is where then Ricochet's you're already intimidated by me right now, aren't you? This is where he didn't wipe his nose because he must have been sweating on that area. But it's where he suicide dived Ospreay right into the top corner side so hard he is head first right into the top part of Barry's tombstone. This is where fans start chanting Ricochet, Ricochet. This is where he tried to toss him right into the bottom. But the upper right side is where he jumped right on top, like if he's AEW Sami Zayn. This is where he tried to go for a forearm strike, but this is where Ricochet caught him right up on his legs and hit him with a devastating Hurricane Rana. Crashed him down right into the concrete floor. This is where Ricochet's like, yes, I'm liking this already. They don't call me the one and only for nothing. This is where then Ricochet get him right back up. That's where then That's where the Ricochet and Irish Whip Will Ospreay right into the bottom left side, I believe. This is where then he hits a strike on him. This is where Irish Whip right to the the bottom left side. Then he took him to the upper right side. This is where he kicks him right to the face. When Ricochet tried to splash him, he did not know what move to hit him. That was his huge mistake that he did of the night. But this is where Ricochet managed to fight back. Irish Whip Will Ospreay right to the bottom corner side. But it's where he gets hit with a rolling flip springboard Pele kick right to the head, like if he's a British Cedric Alexander. Just where then Will Ospreay's like, all right, like that's one move to take him down for good. Is where he took a page out of his former rival's move that's still on the other company, which is the phenomenal forearm, like the phenomenal AJ Styles usually do. Like this is where he tried to go for the strike, but this is where he tried to go for a pin. The referee counted 1, referee counted 2, but this is where we got Ricochet got the shoulder up of the right. Pretty like in a and this is where we got what's his name? But this is where we got what's his name? Will Ospreay and try to go for the what's Ospreay and go for the power bomb. But this is where we got this is where Ospreay they're like, you know what, flub it, and this is where he kicks him right in the head. This is where Will Ospreay then hits some knife edge chops right on his chest, like trying to mock that Angel, like what he used to do to the one and only when they were fighting over for the Intercontinental Champion. But this is where Will Ospreay tried to seal Ricochet's fate by hitting him with one of his finishing maneuvers, which that is the Os Cutter. But this is where Ricochet caught him slipping, like with him got his back turned. With Ricochet tried to go for a back suplex, but this is where Ospreay go for a flip and he tried to go for a roundhouse kick. This is where Ricochet dodged out of the way, tried to go for a kick of his own. This is where it started hitting some from kicks to swings until Ricochet dodged out of the way for the last time and hits him with the spinning kick that knocked him down for good. That's where then he hits him with a devastating clothesline, like if he's sending him to hell. This is where we got Ricochet go for a pin, but this is where we got Ospreay goes get the shoulder up at 2.7. That's where we got Ricochet and they try to run right into the right corner side ropes. This is where he gets flipped right over and nearly gets hit with a double underhook power bomb. But this is where Ricochet kicks him right into the face into like if it's a cartwheel insecurity. But this is where once Ricochet went right back to the right side, is where Will Ospreay goes for that insecurity kick right into the face, knocking the one and only Ricochet out. This is where then he did the same back to him when Will Ospreay went to the left. But it's where instead of doing exactly what Will Ospreay did, he did go for a basement roundhouse kick right into the basement of Ospreay's ribs. This is where then he goes right into the right side, but he gets caught with a Spanish fly out of nowhere. This is where we got Will Ospreay try to go for a cover, but this is where we got Ricochet kicks out at 2.5. This is where Will Ospreay is like, oh, like I know that's kind of my signature move, but that should have been something. This is where then. This is where we got Will Ospreay. Then I believe was trying to go for either the Os Cutter or a hidden blade. I think he was going for the Os Cutter because he started doing the position for the Os Cutter. This is where then I was like that means this means we're going to be seeing a guaranteed. I totally forgot that he didn't actually attempt to go do the move because before he can even do so, Ricochet pulled him back from and prevented him from doing the maneuver. So this is the first time. So yeah, this was a bad luck right here, but he does get a guaranteed later on to this match. But we got Ricochet got back in the offense side of things. This is where then Ricochet then they try to go for a pump kick right into the face, right onto right into the face of the aerial assassin, but he caught his leg, which Ospreay hits a knife edge chop on the one and only wrestler. This is where the Will Ospreay tried to go for that 91 Tiger Driver maneuver, try to send him right to the baddest part of the ring, or should I say the hardest part of the ring. That definitely probably guaranteed an injury to the Ricochet. But luckily, Ricochet smartly removed himself out of that situation, hitting the step-up insecurity right onto right onto Will Ospreay in the process, but he ends up getting a pump kick by Ospreay. That's where Will Ospreay trying to run up to him, but it's where we got Ricochet that got popped up right up to his shoulders. Is where he was about to hit my finishing maneuver, which I almost appreciated by. But this is where Will Ospreay super kicked him when he got off of it. This is where he tried to go for an Oscutter. He thought he got him, but even though it was right on the apron, but it still don't matter because the rules still occur even on ringside areas and the apron itself, which Will Ospreay hit him with the Oscutter like out of nowhere more than the RKO does, like which it wasn't guaranteed, but both men were down before they could even continue to do more beatings in the ring to try to capitalize on the other. This is where they eventually did got back in the ring. This is where we got Ricochet and but this is where we got Will Ospreay like. It was Ricochet that got up on the top rope. Will Ospreay stopped him from hitting some kind of a diving maneuver. This is where he tried to go for on his own, but Ricochet stopped him right before he can even hit it when they were on the upper left side of the top turnbuckle. Get ready to do an whoever wins get to do an avalanche maneuver on their opponent. But Ricochet was right into that position where Ricochet hits the Frankenstein right onto Will Ospreay. But this is where Will Ospreay impressively hit a 450 in the air and still was standing afterwards. And I was like, wow, like I never thought I would see insult to injuries, let me rephrase that. But him trying to steal Ospreay's maneuver, which is indeed the Oscutter, running to the right side and hit it right into the face, right on, successfully hit the Ospreay. He tried to go for a cover. That's where we got Will Ospreay got the shoulder up at barely at 2.99999999999 double triple nine minus 0.1 away from being 3. And I was like, wow, like just so close, just a teeny tiny pitch away from being 3. Like, but this is where the one half was cheering for Will Ospreay while the other one was chanting for Ricochet, like go back and forth until Ricochet super kicks Will Ospreay's right side of his head. This is where Ricochet was about to hit the Too Fast, Too Furious. It was the 630 splash. Like it was the 630 splash, but this is where Will Ospreay moved up. This is where then he moved out of the way. This is where he was about to hit the hidden blade once he turned around, which maybe it wasn't a smart idea to wait for him to turn around to do so. Like you should do it like when he didn't have the chance to see. Even though Ricochet will probably be making excuses about that, but still, like you gotta do what you gotta do to prove your point. Like when it comes to being a better man in a match, like when it comes into rivalry such as this, has been long around since before AEW was even a promotion. But anyway, this is where he tried to go for a hit blade, but Ricochet dodges out of the way. This is where he got him in the backslide. This is where Ospreay was trying to fight back and resist, but this is where Will Ospreay hits him with this backslide slam, which that's very rare to use in professional wrestling, by the way. But this is where we got Will Ospreay. I mean, that's where Ricochet did hit a move that he would probably never gotten away with if he hit it in this other company he used to wrestle for, and that was the spinning pile driver maneuver. When Will Ospreay started grabbing on his neck because he must have did some kind of neck damages onto Ospreay's neck in some degree, in some capacity. But despite that, Will Ospreay still kicked out of this